Do you drink bottled water? A new movie says we shouldn't. Stop buying this stuff. It's drying up the world. Also, they say the plastic here is poisonous. And do you think that your car is your property? That if you make the payments on time, your car belongs to you? Ha! Think again. And what about that pesticide, DDT? The wonderful Rachel Carson taught us that DDT nearly poisoned America and almost killed off the national bird. And finally, as everyone knows, as the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. Except, what if everything everyone knows is wrong? Tonight, myths, lies, and downright stupidity. Get out the shovel, because everything you know is wrong.
And now, the man who shatters conventional wisdom, John Stossel.
I've got this shovel because, thank you, over the years I've discovered a lot of what I've reported on and what my colleagues have reported on turned out to be bull excrement. I've spent the last few years trying to shovel it away and apologizing for my mistakes. I keep this around because the myths keep coming. And tonight, we'll cover about 10. We start with a myth that helped me win these Emmy Awards. The myth that business is constantly ripping us off. That capitalism is okay, it gives us some nice stuff and makes some people rich, but it's cruel and unfair. Now I know that that's a myth. For the most part, business is good for people, and some of these awards were silly. I got them because my colleagues hate business. So I'm glad this book came out recently, 5 Big Lies About American Business. Its author, please welcome Michael Medved. He's a radio host. He's based in Seattle, but his show is syndicated all around America, and he's got a big audience, 4 million listeners. I was surprised to see this book because radio hosts mostly talk about politics, but now you're writing about business myths. Why?
Well, because so many of these business myths, and they're not really myths, they're lies. They're deliberate lies, and a lot of the people who tell them know that they're lies. They underlie a lot of the discussions that we have. For instance, right now we've just gone through this horrible debate about health care. And the whole myth, the whole lie underlying this drive for a public option is the lie that says you can count on government to treat you better than for-profit business. It's intuitive. Mommy government, they care for us. Business just wants money. Well, exactly. And I ask people in the book to remember the last time you went into Starbucks, and then remember the last time you went into the DMV to get your license. And where did you get better treated? And it's not because the barista is some kind of idealist or humanitarian. She wants a tip. She wants you to come back to the Starbucks. At the DMV, stay employed. Exactly. The business needs to make a profit. You can only make a profit in this country by giving people either a product or a service that they want. It's the golden rule in action. And people don't realize that, whereas government, at that DMV, they don't care whether you come back or not. They're the only show in town. They don't need you. You need them. They can't be fired. And certainly Hollywood spreads these myths. Michael Moore made a career out of it. Here he is at a rally on Wall Street.
This economic system they call capitalism has no moral or ethical core to it. Inhuman. It's only about how much money can we make.
Well, it is about making money. It is, but you make money by the golden rule. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. You give people stuff that they want. You can't make money if you're totally inconsiderate or exploitative about other people, not in the long term. By the way, I should point out that another myth, of course, is Michael Moore claims that capitalism is dead. That was the whole theme of his movie, Capitalism, a Love Story. Let's break it down. Let's take some of your myths one at a time. His movie died. Capitalism is alive. Good point. One at a time on Michael's myths. First, business executives are corrupt and greedy. And here's a clip from the movie Syriana, where an oil tycoon celebrates corruption.
Corruption keeps us safe and warm. Corruption is why you and I are prancing around in here instead of fighting over scraps of meat out in the street. Corruption is why we win.
You used to be a writer about movies, so you're familiar with this. Is the new villain is a businessman.
Oh, it's been a villain for 30 years. I mean, what's interesting is people forget that in the old days in Hollywood, occasionally you'd have business people who were very positive. George Bailey, the Jimmy Stewart character, is a banker in It's a Wonderful Life. Yeah, but this movie, I mean, that writing, corruption is why we win. What's fascinating to me, John, is I'm sure you learned in school, we all studied a book called The Theory of the Leisure Class, which was 1904, and it indicted the leisure class and these people who were out there exploiting other people and really had nothing to do except sit on their yachts and go to their swimming pools and their vacations. There's no leisure class in America today. I mean, people who are running corporations work incredibly hard. And one of the things that's happened in this country, and it's counterintuitive, is that if you ask about leisure time, the higher up on the income scale you go, the less leisure time you have. It's not as if people are lazy and corrupt. You tend to make money. You make money in this country by working hard.
Let's go on to your myth number 2. When the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. And perhaps the ultimate expression of this idea is in that movie Wall Street. Michael Douglas, playing Gordon Gekko, is confronted by Charlie Sheen about wanting so much money.
How much is enough?
It's not a question of enough, pal. It's a zero-sum game. Somebody wins, somebody loses. Money itself isn't lost or made. It's simply transferred from one perception to another.
And this is a common myth, and I see why politicians and lawyers believe it, the zero-sum game. If one person wins, somebody else loses, because that's true in their world. If one wins, somebody else loses. But it's not true in business?
No, it's not. It's only true in Survivor, you know, where you can get voted off the island. But it's not even true in sports, by the way. I mean, the fact that the Yankees do well helps all of baseball. It helps the lesser teams as well, especially if the lesser teams are playing at Yankee Stadium. But the point about all of this is that if you believe that when the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, then you believe that creating wealth causes poverty, and you're an idiot.